everybody, welcome. How are you? So back with another video. Just posted a video showing Chantal's little hissy fit in her community post, and I guess she's not done. She posted another post, and I can't remember if she did it last night or this morning. I'm gonna have to check, but there was another post that I either forgot or just appeared this morning. Anyway, so she posted another video, and this one she was giving us a little health update that she went to an appointment and she got some new medications. And according to her, the medications are working better for her to make her feel better. I got a lot of thoughts for that video, and so I'd like to do a react today and share my thoughts with the rest of you and hear your thoughts as well. So before we get into Chantal's video, let's check out the stuff on Twitter. And I think at the end of Chantal's video, I'm going to include another clip courtesy of a channel called Piggy, because Pete did a live stream talking about Chantal and giving his thoughts. And I've got to my thoughts to Pete as well. So let me just go ahead and share the screen. I've got so many tabs open. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure that I am where I need to be on Twitter. No, I'm not. Let me just get there really quick. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So let me just open that up. All right. Okay. So for those of you that want to follow me on Twitter X, my handle is WowGirlSarah. Let's start here with Perfectly Imperfect. Perfectly Imperfect says Foodie Beauty first claims she spent one night in the hospital, yet she went to the clinic on July the 5th and says she was discharged on Monday, July the 8th. So that would be a 3-day hospital stay. Must have been something really, really serious to stay in the hospital for 3 days, Chantal. Because if it's something minor, you just walk in, get treated, and walk out. So why were you there for 3 days? Must have been pretty bad. That might be an indicator that maybe you need to go back to Canada, because you're really not going to get healthy in Kuwait. As long as you're in Kuwait, as long as you have Salah there, it's incredibly hot. You can't go outside. There's no way you're going to lose the weight. You're probably going to gain more weight. But let's watch the clip courtesy of Perfectly Imperfect.
I was discharged from the hospital Monday night. I was discharged from the hospital Monday night.
Yep. What else we got here? Was that it? So 3 days in the hospital, Chantal. 3. And the last time I checked, hospital stays are not cheap. I don't know where you came up with the number of $50. I just can't see that happening. Going to any hospital and all you're paying is $50? You're lying to the audience and trying to claim that it's incredibly cheap in Kuwait. I don't think it's that cheap. I mean, hospitals have to pay their staff and buy supplies and so forth. And you're taking up a bed that could go to somebody else. Why would they make it cheap? If hospitals were that cheap, everybody would be going to a hospital. Nobody would bother with the clinics. But hospitals are generally much more expensive. So you were there for 3 days. I'm sure the bill was shocking. Okay, something fun from Fegan. The turtle's biggest fun is playing with the house cat. Look at this turtle. He won't leave this kitty alone. They must be best friends. Look at the turtle. Cat's like, look, leave me alone, turtle. Turtle's like, no. I never knew turtles could move that fast, but I guess they can. Okay, Not Your Mother says, hey, Chins, when you started talking to Salad, you said he has a nice house, drives a nice car, and he would take care of you so you don't have to work. That's why we comment on the one-room scuzz pad with no kitchen or bathroom he had. You fat /catfished each other. Yeah, I believe that to be true. I believe they lied to each other. especially her. She really lied. She probably talked herself up, and on top of that, showing herself in pictures and videos with the filters on. She turned the tables on the romance scammer. They were both scammers, just on different levels and for different reasons, and they scammed each other. Chantal did not want to get romance scammed where she gave someone a bunch of money. So what she did was she kept up the lies and the illusion until the very last second, where she pulled up all roots in Canada, packed a bag and left, and put him in a position where he could not get rid of her. She made sure to have him on lock before she showed all of her true self. Although, since that time, Chantal has come back to Canada, at least a handful of times. Any number one of those times, Salah could have packed up the house as soon as she was gone, got his clothes, got his things, and just disappeared into the night. And he never did. And the longer she stays there, the worse things become. And I'm sure he's at the point now where he is absolutely dying to get rid of her and has no idea how to do that. And she has nowhere else to go. There is no plan B. There is no villa back in Canada that she could go to if Salah dumps her. She has no home. She has no pets. She has nothing. If she came back home to Canada, where would she go? To her family? Her family's not going to put her up for too terribly long. The last couple of times she was home, they let her sleep on the couch at night. And then during the daytime, she had to leave. They didn't allow for her to live stream from the house. They didn't want to be doxxed or bothered. So they gave her just enough room to sleep there at night, but they're not going to let her live there full term. So what would Chantal's options be beyond that? I would say a motel, renting a motel room by the week or by the month. You can do that sometimes. She doesn't have enough money for first and last month's rent, security deposit. She's got a bankruptcy on her record. It'd be really difficult for her to get a place of her own. So motel would have to be it. And she knows it. And that's why she doesn't want to come back to Canada. She doesn't want to admit defeat. She doesn't want to admit the girl world was right. So she's going to hang on to her pride until she's absolutely broke. But as far as Salah living in a one-room place with no kitchen, hey, you do what you got to do. There's no shame in living how you live if that's what you can afford or if you're happy with it. But he talked himself up. She talked him up. And then we saw the truth and we're like, what's going on here? Obviously, some people told some lies. Okay, so Salty Ann 369 says hideous, inside and out. You can't hide it, Chins. We know. Butter Crumpet. This is like a side-by-side picture. So the bottom left is Chantal in a recent video or live stream where she was coming back from doing her visa run, visa hop. And the top picture on the right is what she posted on TikTok. Two entirely different people. So the top right is fantasy and the bottom left is reality. You know, I don't know who the people are that make her filters, but they could use her as a good advertisement. That if they could do that for her, imagine what they could do for everybody else. Okay, Indy says, I clearly remember Foodie getting ready to go look for an apartment for her in Natter. And she said that she would not be wearing her lashes because she wanted to look more serious. She manipulates everyone. Yeah, about that. I'm glad that you brought that up, Indy. I remember that time too. Chantal was so desperate to spend time with Natter that she lied to Natter. She told him, Booger, hey, ma'am, you can't get in there. She's trying to get into my cabinets. Hey, ma'am, what is it? You hear that? Booger, come here. What's the matter with you? Sorry. Yeah. Chantal was so desperate to spend time with Natter, that she told this great big lie to Natter that she could get him a place. So Natter, wanting his own place, he believed Chantal that, because she had money, she was able to get him his own place. What he didn't know was the fact that she had bad credit and a bankruptcy on her record. These were things that Chantal knew, and she hid from him, and she just acted like they were looking for an apartment, knowing the entire time that she couldn't get him one, just to get more time with him. And then once he figured out that it wasn't going to happen or couldn't happen, he was angry. He was really, really angry. Like, she will tell whatever lies she has to tell. She will do whatever it is she has to do to get what she wants. And she doesn't care if she hurts anybody. She doesn't care how they're affected. She's just going to do what she's going to do. Acadia Strong says, notice goes to the hospital, no makeup on her face, but goes to mall, restaurant, or for a drive with full face of makeup, fishing for sympathy or trying to look worse for the doctor. I think it's a combination of all three. When she wants sympathy, she knows she can use the soft voice and not wear her makeup to where she looks extra sick. I mean, she knows all the manipulation tactics, y'all. She's figured them all out. She could write her own book on how to be manipulative, and it might be a bestseller because she's a master at her craft. She's not a good liar. She could not write a book on how to be a good liar and get away with it, but she knows so much in the way of manipulation. I swear this woman should write a book. Or not. That'd be a bad idea. We don't need more manipulative people in the world, but yeah, she knows a lot about that. Florida Salt and Sass says, in the economy we are in, people busting their butts working hard jobs full-time are having extreme difficulties affording food and rent. So yes, Chins, I will choose to slam on you for trying to lie about your mail order husband's wealth and housing since you feel it's been, and then it got cut off. And that's true, Florida. People are busting their butts in this economy. The economy is hard. Finding a job is hard. Making money is hard. Putting food on the table is hard. My heart goes out to anybody out there that you're struggling. I mean, you're doing the best you doggone can. And especially if you got a family and you got babies to feed, children to feed. I've heard of parents going without meals just so their kids could eat. I mean, there are some seriously hard times going on right now. And that is something people like Amberlynn Reed and Chantal, they just don't get. That over the past 4 or 5 years, the world has changed. And people treat things differently and they view things differently. You know, back in the day, before the vid, people were watching Amber and Chantal, watching two women just go wild with the food. And then the vid came along and it changed everything. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their homes. Even those that were able to keep their jobs, they got cut in their hours. A lot of bad things happened. A lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people were on lockdown. And I feel during that time of lockdown, a lot of people, they reevaluated their lives and how they spent their time and how they spent time with family. And ever since that time, my opinion, I think that all of us that having to go through those things, we see two women online that really don't have to work really, really hard. All they have to do is post a video on YouTube and make decent money. And that takes all of 15 minutes? And they have the power to improve their health, improve their lives, and they don't. When you look at someone like Amber or Chantal, it hits different, It hits a lot different than how it did back in the day when people first started watching them. When you watch them now, there's a sense of, here I am over here struggling, or I know somebody else is struggling, and they're working doggone hard to stay healthy and to get their bills paid. And here are these two ungrateful, spoiled, rotten women purposely and willingly ruining their health just because they can. They don't care anything about themselves. They don't care anything about their finances, nothing. They have the power to do whatever they want, and they're doing the wrong thing. And it hits different. When you watch someone like Amber and Chantal, it hits a lot different. When you've gone through your struggles, it hits different. You look at people like Chantal and Amber and you're like, I'm so disgusted. Two women that have the power to do anything, and they do nothing but hurt themselves. Fondue Pondu says, Foodie Beauty, Team YouTube, what the F is the point of terms of service if you don't apply them to Foodie Beauty, who is inciting blank, blank, and blank against other content creators daily? I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the blanks because YouTube is funny. Well, Fondue, I can answer that question for you. I think I have an answer for you. I think YouTube's money comes from taking 30% of what everybody makes, but it also comes from advertisers. So to make the advertisers with the companies feel comfortable, they have a terms of service on paper, and they can claim that everything is family friendly. And because they do, these companies say, okay, I'll advertise with you. And YouTube gets paid from that. So I think it's all about the having something on paper so we can make money off these companies kind of thing. It's not about, we care about the community and we care about people and we want to protect them against things going too far. It's about, we're just protecting our butt so we can make money. All right. Miss Anthropope Lulu says, Foodie has a lot more going on than just the beatus. Has she done anything in the past 3.5 years to address her liver? Not sure the exorbitant THC in them wheelchairs helped at all. And the video date showing here is 2/18/21. So let's keep that in mind. This was 3 years ago. This was her days back at the villa. Let's listen.
I have to make some drastic dietary changes because of my health conditions. So
okay, let's stop right here. So this was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, she had health conditions. 3 years ago. Not a single one of them was ever managed or put in check or under control or healed. So 3 years ago, she was having her health conditions, and look, they're far worse now.
like I have some pretty bad bowel inflammation, the CT scan showed, and my liver is like, I think 29 centimeters now, or it grew a whole bunch in a short.
Okay, you know what? Let me just look something up. Okay, so I'm looking this up. I just looked up what is considered a normal liver size. And I just found this, just Googling it. The normal liver size varies with men and women. It is 10.5 centimeters for men and 7 centimeters for women. Liver size can be estimated clinically by percussion. Any value 2 to 3 centimeters larger than something. So let me just double check that. Okay. Okay, what is the normal size of a human liver? The size of a human liver depends on age, sex, and body size. However, the average size of a human liver ranges from 5 centimeters to 15 centimeters. So Foodie's liver was already bigger than what it was supposed to be. Much bigger. Much, much bigger. And that was 3 years ago. Imagine what it looks like now.
Short period of time. So I have to go on like a liver reducing diet, and I have to go on an anti-inflammatory diet and stuff.
Well, so much for that. That liver and reducing diet did not happen.
So
And remember, this was back when Fraudy was at the villa, and she's put on at least 150, 200 pounds since then. So imagine the shape that her liver is in right now. And let's remember that Fraudy also has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So she's got the fatty liver. Her liver is larger than what it should be. She was having issues 3 years ago. Sweet Bonnie Girl says, no, a kidney infection won't give you a blood sugar of 22 mmol. Wrong again. While infection does increase cortisol levels and cortisol increases blood glucose, it only increases to about 0.5 points or 50 points for mgdl. Your astronomical BG is from your diet. Yep. And I've heard that in different cases for diabetes. For those who take care of their health, sometimes they can get off medications or reduce the amount of medications. And yet it seems as time goes on, Chantal has to keep switching medications or increasing the amount she takes. So, keep telling on yourself, Fraudy. Punch Cat. This is something cool from Punch Cat. Now, for those of you that are not cat people, let me introduce you to something called chattering. And it's something that cats do when they see something like a bird. They do the chattering, and it might be hardwired into them, like that's part of their nature as predators into hunting. But listen to the chattering. They're chattering. I notice they're looking at something. Their eyes are all big. Like they sometimes do the chattering when they see something and like they're about to hunt. They want to bite onto something. So that's chattering for those who don't know what chattering is. Acadia Strong says she didn't delete to avoid giving people attention. Talking about the community post. She did it so she wouldn't get reported. Yeah, she knows how to play the YouTube game. She knows. She's been on YouTube long enough. She knows she can rage in a video or she can rage in her community post. And as long as she deletes it within a day, she won't get in trouble. By the time YouTube gets around to it, it's already gone. So it's not about giving us attention. It's about she is protecting her channel from getting another strike. Okay, did I miss this? Did she just post this? I don't know. It's probably already gone. But this is from Perfectly Imperfect. Oh, this is yesterday. I'm sorry. This was part of the post that I missed. This is like one of the community posts that she was raging. Foodie Beauty, Scabadaba, do logic everyone. Me. My husband was taking care of himself before he met me. He had an apartment and a car. Scabadoo's brain cells. Yeah, but he had an old beater and 1-bedroom apartment, and he was a bachelor. Why would he need anything else? And he drove a Honda. You don't only upgraded anything in life because your crap show accusing me of upgrading Salah's life. Guess the same applies to you. You are welcome. And a bachelor studio, 1 room, and a Honda is still better than living with your mom buying her bras, right? Garlic breath. So she's going after garlic bread too, as well as Java. Chantal, I'm going to read between the lines here. Let's just call things by their right names. Your health sucks right now, and that's your fault. You won't do what you need to do and leave Salah behind and come back to Canada and fix all your issues. You went to the doctor, you heard some stuff that you did not want to hear. They told you had to lose weight and fix your diet, and you don't like hearing things like that from people. Although you've heard those same things from different people many times over the years, it still irritates you. You're angry at a lot of things, so you take them out on anybody you can, and especially on people on the internet that are not directly physically in front of you. We only reacted to Salah's living situation because of all the lies that you told about him, about how he lived and what he did. And then we saw him and saw how he lived, and it was not the same, It was not the same. You started that fire by lying to us to begin with. Okay, DX says she gets to clickbait her imminent demise, but we can't talk about it. She can block us and tell us to go talk elsewhere, but if we talk about it on X, she'll report us. She can talk about people's kids and their parenting, but we can't talk about her being neglectful to her pets. Hey, no lies detected there. She wants to get on YouTube and basically do snuff bongs. She wants everybody to watch her slowly unalive herself with food. And it's not even slow anymore. She's putting her foot on the gas pedal. So she wants to get on YouTube, abuse the platform, use it for purposes not intended, do fetish content on YouTube, but we're not allowed to comment. She was the one that decided to take stuff that really should be on a private forum and put it on a public forum where really the public shouldn't be watching it. And she tells us, go talk elsewhere, but yet we do. And she's got a problem with that. She wants to control all the platforms. Chantal, you can't boss yourself. You're not even controlling yourself. How can you control other people and what they say? You might as well just stop. DX also says, so Chantal can bring her health online and make it the central point of her videos, but we can't talk about her well-being or health. It's a mukbang channel, but we can't talk about her eating. She gets to bring her husband online, but we can't talk about him cheating. So what can we? It's weird. She wants us to talk about her, but yet we're not allowed to talk about her. We can't talk about her on YouTube. We can't talk about her on TikTok. We can't talk about her on Twitter. Please make up your mind, Chantal. Do you want everyone's attention? Do you want us to talk about you or not? You can't seem to make up your mind. Sometimes you want attention, sometimes you don't. But hey, the internet is forever. You put something out there, it's out there forever. Even if you delete it, somebody might have it. You decided long ago to get on a public forum and put yourself out there in front of the public and do and say all the things you didn't say. So now you got to deal with the consequences. You want to be the bad guy. You're the bad guy. That's the image you created for yourself. You're not a good person. You don't do good things. You're selfish. You're self-centered. You're narcissistic. You are evil. You only care about yourself. And even that's weird because at the same time you care about yourself, you really don't care about yourself. You're letting yourself rot. So figure that one out. How could you be a narcissist and be vain and care about yourself at the same time you don't care about yourself? I guess that's a question for the ages. Yup says, how do narcissists behave when they think they're dying? They rage. Let's look at the pictures. When a narcissist is dying, they may feel like their sense of self has been taken away because their self-worth is based on how others perceive them. This can lead to a cycle of feeling alone. Next, deserve, which can sometimes turn into narcissistic rage. Well, she's got that rage all the time, so it's kind of hard to see, like when she's really angry. Okay, I think that's it for all the Twitter stuff. So let's get into something else. You know what? Before we get into her video, which is honestly not that interesting, how about we take a minute and review the video by Piggy? And I will leave a link for Piggy's original video in the description for those who want to check out Piggy, because Piggy has a really excellent channel. Really excellent. Okay. Am I on where I need to be? I'm just making sure, sorry, before I flip over. Doggone it. All right, we're at the end. Let's go back.
Kind of related to each other.
And he's got some foul language. That's why I had to wait a little bit to play his video. let's see what Pete has to say in this video from Piggy. Is called Pete Defends Foodie Beauty's Health Issues. Of course, he's going to defend her health issues because it's so sad. I don't like Pete's. He's done some pretty awful things to BBJ. He took out his passive aggressiveness on BBJ just because of the fact that BBJ's original name was Casey. And BBJ was a cat that Pete's and Chantal got together when they got together. And then when Chantal cheated on Pete's and left Pete's to go be with BB, she changed the name to BBJ, which was basically short for BB. And then when she came back over to Pete's, I'm sure, had a lot of inner rage, anger over the broken heart, over the betrayal, the cheating. But yet he's too passive aggressive with his feelings. He wasn't going to go to Chantal and tell her how he felt. So he took out some of his anger on BBJ. So yeah, you're a jerk, Pete. You're an absolute jerk. And you're a bit pathetic because even to this day, I feel you're still waiting for Chantal to come back. You think there might be some chance of the two of you living together. It's never going to happen, sir. Even if she came back to Canada, she wouldn't live with you. She already reduced you to basically a human doormat. If she goes to anybody, it's going to go to be with Natter, not you. But let's watch the video.
Hi.
A lot of people have concern for health. It can be problematic overall. Yeah, I mean, it's like I suspect that she probably does get fed up with people commenting on her health. I mean, she knows, like, she's not stupid. She
What?
knows that her health is in a bad place right now. Like, she's not always realistic, but she's not stupid. She knows that she's not healthy. You know, people constantly commenting on it, it probably does get annoying. Looking for some, maybe start getting that or so any chance. Yeah, I mean that was another thing, like, where she kind of knew, but needed to figure it out on her own to a certain extent. Stop being unhealthy and go on walks and drink water. I mean, the water, yes, the walks in fucking Kuwait in like 100-degree weather.
You know what, Pete? She chose to go over there. Everybody warned her. Everybody said, hey, Chantal, do you understand what you're walking into? You're used to living in Canada where it's not so hot. And you're going to go from that climate over to a desert climate where in the summertime, the temperatures go well over 100 degrees and you're very sensitive to heat. And sometimes they have blackouts because of the electrical grid. Everybody warned her about this stuff, but she was determined to run from the tax man all the way to Kuwait and be around a guy that wants nothing to do with her. She wanted what she wanted. And even though there were voices of reason all over the place telling her reasons why she shouldn't do it, she did it anyway. And here we are 2 years later, and she's miserable. And I know in her mind, she knows that a lot of people were right and truthful. She'll never admit it, though, that she was wrong because she is a narcissist. But she chose to go over there to that heat, and that's why we don't have the sympathy for her complaining about the heat at all.
Yeah, like with how hot it gets in Kuwait.
You know what, though, Pete? Even if you live in Kuwait, even if it is hot outside, where there's a will, there's a way. You want to exercise, you get a treadmill, you put it inside your house. You walk on it every day. You build your stamina up. She happens to live in a building with a pool. She could go down to the pool every day, and the water would actually help her because it makes her more buoyant to where she's not damaging or putting pressure on her joints. Not only that, but she got access to YouTube and a computer, and she could work out with videos right there at the computer inside of her own home with the air conditioning. I mean, like I said, where there's a will, there's a way. But the problem is she doesn't want to find a way. She just wants to make excuses.
It's fucking brutal over there. A treadmill might not be a bad idea for
No.
her.
It'd have to be a really expensive one because of the weight limit. She couldn't get away with a cheap one. She would need someone that can support up to, say, 500, 600 pounds.
She can walk in the malls and she doesn't. Hey, Julia. I do feel like a treadmill would probably be good for her.
Yeah, but she's not going to do it. She is actually enjoying her immobility. She thinks it's cute to sit there and tell people that she lays around the seal position. Whenever there's something harmful in Chantal's life, she downplays it and makes it seem less harmful by giving it a cute name. Like her bee moments, she came up with the word bees. I'm beesin'. Does anybody wonder where the term beesin' came from? It's an actual slang word. Do you know where that comes from? And I don't recommend anybody doing this, okay? So don't do this. But the term beesin' came about because people would take these Burt's Bees product and put it on their eyelids to feel a sense of euphoria or something. That is where beesin' came from. But she used the term in a different way as a code word for her bee moments, because YouTube, they told her, you can't use the B word, we won't monetize it. So she had to come up with a code word that YouTube was okay with. So bees became it. And now that she's immobile, she's being cute with it and saying, oh, I'm just going to lay around in the seal position and I'm into bed rotting. Again, making it seem like it's okay for her to be that way.
At the same time, I feel like a treadmill would be good for me, and I'm not going to be fucking buying one. It's not like I can judge her on that. I'll be honest. With what I've been hearing about insulin shortages, I'm glad she was able to get it at all.
And another thing, thank you for bringing that up, Pete. That's another thing that's going to make people really angry. The fact that Chantal, had she taken care of her health, she probably wouldn't be on insulin right now. And he's right. There are lots of people that, especially in the United States, insulin is very expensive. And that's for people that actually take care of their health. And in the past, Chantal has taken diabetic medication and misused it. She didn't use it to manage her diabetes. She did it to manage her bee moments so she can have more of them and do more of the feedy content. And from the sounds of it, she's planning on doing the exact same thing with the insulin. So there are people out there that have diabetes. They depend on the insulin. And it sounds like she might possibly abuse hers just so she can become bigger for YouTube's sake.
Why didn't they give it to her sooner? I've seen a lot of stories about people needing insulin and not being able to get it. Like people who've been prescribed insulin get their prescription renewed.
You know, this is going to be, I hate to bring the mood down, but I got to bring this up. There are people that they need insulin. And I've read stories like this, and I wanted to cry for these people, that because insulin is so expensive and they had so little money that they tried to take smaller doses just to have enough around, and it led to disastrous results. And again, here's Chantal using up insulin that if she had taken care of her health, she wouldn't need right now, and it could go to somebody else who needs it.
And not being able to. So I'm glad she's got it now, and I hope that she's able to keep getting it renewed. We'll see, because shit is bad right now. And yeah, hopefully it helps her. See who got married? No, I didn't. Frankly, I don't really give a shit about Nader and Dee Dee. To be honest, I never really cared about Like, I never really cared about Nader. I just wanted Chantal to be safe and happy. And, she was neither with him.
You know, it's so sad to me. Chantal's been running around for years wanting for a guy to fake love her. Here's a guy who really honestly did love her. Still loves her. He's sitting on 17 years worth of dirt. He knows where all the bodies are buried and in what order and in what backyard. And he could easily come online and expose all her dirt. And what's she going to do about it? She's in another country. But he is loyal to a fault. Despite the fact that she has put him in debt, despite the fact that she's done him mad dirty and cheating on him, he won't flip on her. If he did, it would be well-deserved, considering all the things she's done to him, but he won't flip on her. And I think it's because there's a little teeny tiny piece of his heart still holding on to a torch that she'll come back and be with him and won't let go of that. And he knows that if he flips on her, that's never going to happen. Well, guess what, Pete? It's not going to happen anyway. She doesn't want you.
He definitely did. Like, he definitely did have more stronger opinions on me than I had on him. Because, like, I never talked about him. I never even talked about him on my channel. Like, the one time I did talk about him on my channel was, shortly after Timbit died, and he got pissy about Chantal, taking me to put Timbit down. Like, I think that was like the only time I ever talked about him.
You know what, Pete? I know that you're way too much into Chantal. So much so that you're in the fire, but there are those of us that are standing outside the fire. Did it ever occur to you, bro, that you were dealing with a very manipulative woman, always seeking validation in toxic things? And one of the things that she liked to do was triangulate, like having two men fight over her. That's the way she finds value. That's the way she feels valuable, is having men fight over her. She would go to you, talk trash about Natter, and then after she was done with you, go to Natter, talk trash about you to him, because she wanted the two of you to fight over her. She wanted to be in the middle of all of that. Just like now, she's with Salah. I'm sure she's talked mad trash about Natter to Salah, but I bet you anything that she's gotten on the phone with Natter and talked trash about Salah to him. Always looking to have men fight over her, but if they did, what would they be fighting over? Like in what way is she valuable? She's not. But she likes to create drama. She wants to feel like she's valuable, so she has to have people fight for her honor when she has none.
Those things, like, okay, I get that you're a jealous, possessive douche, but even then, there are limits, dude. Like, you gotta know. You gotta know when it's time to just be like, I will say nothing about this incident. No matter how jealous of you, you have to recognize. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think Natter was ever jealous of Pete's. If anything, I think that Natter just did not like the idea of being a con artist, and here you are trying to focus on your target and get as much money out of them as possible, and then you find out that your target is already living with a man, and your target is funding that man's life, paying for everything. I'm sure in Natter's mind, he was thinking all that money she's spending to support that other guy could go to me. So I don't think that Natter was ever jealous of Pete's per se. Not in the usual sense. It's more about possessive over the money, wanting to have the cow just in their pasture so they can get all the milk. And the fact that he had to share the milk with Pete's did not sit well with him.
Of course I'm concerned about her. She's got health issues. She's got health issues, and she lives in a country where healthcare is expensive. Yeah, of course I'm concerned. Give her a stern talking to. No. I'd rather just be there for her.
You know what,
however I can.
Pete?
I don't know. I
You
don't,
want her to respect you. If there's anything in you, you want to be in love with this woman again. God help you if you did. You want her to chase you? Then you got to grow a spine. You can't be so spineless. You got to do for yourself and stand up for yourself. As long as you're weak, she's not going to respect you. She's a manipulative, jealous, insecure, bossy type. You got to buck up to her. Then she might have some respect for you. You got to stand up for yourself. You're too weak.
like, she doesn't really need a stern talking to. Let it ever go off there. Because I'm not that kind of person. Would I consider visiting her? In Kuwait? No.
Yeah, like I said, Pete's, he's got 17 years worth of dirt on Chantal. He could flip on her, make a whole bunch of videos, put them on YouTube, and make bank. We'd listen, but he won't. He will not, just because of how he feels about her. So she's running around trying to find a man to fake love her. Meanwhile, she had love the whole time. And she had it in her cats. They gave her unconditional love. Didn't she say she wanted unconditional love? She had it in BBJ and Sam. And look what she did to that unconditional love. She abused it. She neglected it. So these things that you had, Chantal, that were truly yours, you gave it up for something that was not good for you. And that's your stupid mistake.
Fucking hot. Being a hijab. Would cover up my bald spot. Maybe I should convert this. Maybe I should convert just to get my bald spot covered.
Don't even joke about that, Pete.
A lot of it is just because Kuwait.
You know what? He's just rambling right now. Let's just thank you for that video, Piggy. I'm going to leave a link for your original video in the video description. Let's just get out of here and go straight to her video. All right. And she's going to tell us all about the new medications and so forth. I don't know how long we'll stay here. If she gets boring, I'll just skip ahead. I don't care. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second. All right. I'm just making sure. Let's get past her stupid cameo.
I woke up from a nap. I took my blood sugar, and it's been the lowest it's been so far in a long while, like since being sick. So my blood sugars have been going up and down, but they've been not going down very much. When I got sick on July 1st, basically, they were high. Like, the highest was 25 mmol. I'll try to convert that for you guys, but maybe not. I don't know. It's very Googleable. I apologize if I forget or whatever. So I have an update for you guys. Part 2 on, I went to my first follow-up appointment at the internal medicine. I was basically, this is a follow-up appointment that was made by the doctor in observation at the emergency department when I went there. So my journey has been going to a clinic and a private clinic, basically getting assessed, getting blood work done, urine sampled, whatever I could provide, because you guys saw in my picture where I'm like,
Is anybody getting the same thought in their head that I'm getting right now? Because all I keep thinking, listening to Chantal, is I don't care. I really don't care. Her sitting here doing this video, talking about the new medications she's on, point by point, detail by detail, of her going to see the specialist or the hospital, the doctor, and her blood sugar levels. I honestly don't give a crap. I don't give a crap because everything she's telling us right now, she brought upon herself. This is not a case of somebody that they were taking care of their health and they were healthy and they just got sick out of nowhere by no fault of their own. No, she's going through all of this because she purposely made herself this way. And I'll ask the question again, Chantal, are you purposely making yourself sick so that Salah will spend more time with you because he'll be forced to drive you around and take you to doctors and specialists? Are you trying to create some sort of medical emergency to where Kuwait can't get rid of you? I mean, what is the end game here? Is there an end game? Is there a purpose in this beyond the YouTube paycheck? You got to know your body can't take much more. As much as you want to push it further, it can't go any further. But honestly, I just don't care to hear you give us this point by bullet point detailed list of you going to a doctor. Something that's personal, something that's private, that should be kept private. The audience does not have to know about it. Or if you talk about it, you don't have to talk about it for 16 minutes in a video. You complain about people getting into your personal life. At the same time, you monetize it.
Trying to drink those little cups of water, like, I don't know why, but I wasn't giving out anything that day hardly. So probably because of the infection. But and every time I think of that, I want to drink water because having a kidney infection and diabetes will make you so thirsty. I always used to wonder why my grandma always.
Now, you guys, let's think back to what I just showed you on Twitter. The 2021 clip that was posted. She was having kidney issues then. That was 3 years ago. And she knew about them. She didn't treat them. I'm sorry, my mistake. It was her fatty liver. I'm sorry, my apologies. So she was already having issues. And she let her health go untreated. It wasn't a wake-up call. And here we are. Here we are again.
Always, like growing up, always was obsessed with having a glass of water. Like she had to have water, like it was like air for her.
Okay, so somebody you knew was diabetic also. So you knew someone that was diabetic too. And you didn't look what they were going through and say, I don't want to be diabetic. Okay.
I always had to have water with her. She could not go out somewhere without water. And now I'm like that. So
yeah, but you never go out. Excessive thirst is caused by high blood sugar. You would not be as thirsty if you didn't eat so many carbs and consume so much sugar, Chantal. When your blood sugar gets too high, you will become excessively thirsty because that is your body's way of trying to protect itself. Is trying to flush all that sugar out of your bloodstream so it makes you pee. If you just cut down the sugar and the carbs, you wouldn't, you'd be a lot better off.
I should have seen it as like foreshadowing. I don't know. Anyways, so I was given, because I was in the emergency department. So basically after the clinic, they saw my numbers and specifically like the creatinine level and like the urinalysis that came back. The doctor was concerned and goes, you can go to these. I'm going to write you a letter to go there with the concern. So I spent some time in the hospital in the observation department, women's observation, and the doctor made me a couple follow-up appointments. He made me a follow-up appointment with internal medicine, like to follow up regarding everything, the medications they put me on, my blood sugar levels and this and that. And then a little slip to go anytime to set up an appointment for some diabetic education, which I will do very soon. And yeah, so I had my appointment on Wednesday.
She's so long-winded. Can I just give you guys a bit of a summary of the medications that she is going to show in this video? Would you mind? Rather than just wait it out for the entire 16 minutes. You guys want to know what she's on? Because she showed them and I looked them up to see what they were. So the first one that they prescribed her was, is it Zocor? Let's see. And Zocor is, let's see, it may treat arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease, doggone these words. Dang it. Heterozygous familial hypercholesterol. You know what? F these words. They're just too long. You could win Scrabble with these words. In a nutshell, it's used along with proper diet to help lower bad cholesterol. Dang it. Cholesterol. I give up. My tongue doesn't want to work. Cholesterol. Thank you. And fats. And raises good cholesterol. So her cholesterol levels were way too high. So Zocor was one. And the second one was for Ziga. And what is that for? A substance that lowers blood glucose levels by increasing urine glucose excretion. It can be used alone or with other anti-diabetes medicines, but it may cause side effects such as genital and urinary tract infections, and low blood sugar. Wouldn't that be bad for someone like Chantal if she's got like a kidney infection and she's already got problems down there and UTIs? But I'm not a doctor. It sounds like you take the tablet and it basically promotes you to pee a lot more, to pee out the sugar. So that keeps your blood sugar level from getting too high. And the third one is actually like insulin, and it's called Lantus. Lantus is classified as a long-acting insulin. It contains the active drug insulin glargine, which is a biologic drug. Biologic drugs are made from parts of living cells. Lantus is available in biosimilar versions. Let's see. Lantus comes in liquid solution that's given as an injection under your skin. So in this video that Chantal does, and I was watching parts of it, she was given the option to get like a pen. They were like, if you have problems injecting yourself, we can give you the liquid, which you have to inject yourself with, or the pen. Fraudy did not choose the pen. I have theories about that. I can't say 100%, but I think she wanted the vial of liquid for the purpose of being able to inject more than normal into her system. With a pen, you can't do that. That's just my theory, and I'm sticking to it. But go ahead and keep going, Chantal.
Today's Thursday. I was discharged from the hospital Monday night. So that didn't give me a lot of time to like try the new medication. Like it was only like a day and a half maybe till I had my follow-up appointment. Anyway, I went there and I failed to look at the bottom of the, like the doctor just took my phone, took a picture of the appointment, but I didn't see the bottom where it said, please come between 2 and 5 p.m. So the clinic was only between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. So I went, early in the morning with Salah and we had to come back in the afternoon. So that's fine. We came back in the afternoon and we saw the doctor and he just basically was like, okay, how are you doing? How are your blood sugars? And my blood sugars at that time, like I tested my blood sugar before going to the appointment and it was like 18.5. So it was really high. And I was just like getting discouraged because like,
yeah, I wonder why it was 18.5. Did you do what you normally do and eat a bunch of food before bed? Because if you eat a bunch of food before bed, when you go to sleep, your digestion slows down. So your blood sugar is going to be high while you're sleeping. And you might wake up with your blood sugar still being high, depending on what you ate. Or did you eat something right before you left? Which is it, Foodie?
You know, I was just like really, like, no matter what medications I took, whatever, nothing was working. And
Well, what can they do? What can the medications do if you're over there having B moments? Either in front of the camera or off. Medication works the best when you do what you're supposed to do along with the medication. And obviously you're not. You're looking at the medication and you're saying to it, I'm going to really screw up and it's your job to fix all of it. And the medication can't fix it. The medication won't fix it. You're fooling yourself thinking you know everything and you could find ways around everything.
And I remember the doctor in OBS saying to start with 5 units of insulin, which apparently was like too low because you're supposed to also go by body weight. So the doctor was like, well, yeah, 5 units of insulin is too low. So you have to go by what your body weight is. So he checked the report with my body weight. So yeah, he went by that, and they weighed me at the clinic, so it was on the report that the doctor wrote for them. So they still had that in the system. And yeah, so he upped it to 15 units of insulin at around 10 p.m. in the evenings, and he put me on 3 medications. One is, I'll show you them, I guess, for educational purposes. So there's some.
Maybe you should get educated first before you educate anybody else. How about that? Why don't you get educated and practice what you preach before you start preaching at everybody else in the church? I think that'd be a good idea. When we reactors talk about you and your diabetes, Chantal, we're not making fun of diabetes. Diabetes is a serious thing, and a lot of people treat it seriously. They don't look at it as a joke. You treat it as a joke. You make your own little cures and solutions, but you don't take it seriously enough. And you think we're making fun of diabetes? No, you are basically lampooning the fact that you have diabetes. You're over there taking medications at the same time you're having B moments. Spreading misinformation. Putting out the vibe of you can be a diabetic and eat whatever you want as long as you take your pills. Wrong.
Something written on this one in Arabic, and I don't know what it is, so I don't want to show you. Zocor, 20 milligrams of Zocor. And this is he's saying that these are like baseline medications that.
So I'm wondering, like, is she taking these medications along with the metformin and the others? Is she on 6 medications versus 3? Or did the doctor say, don't take those other medications anymore, take these? I'm not quite sure.
They give here, particular in this, at this clinic, for people who are type 2 diabetic. And, because of the organs that are affected by type 2 diabetes, number one killer apparently of diabetes is actually heart disease. So
yeah, how is your heart doing? That's an honest question. How is your heart doing? We've heard about your bladder. We've heard about your kidneys. How is your heart doing, Chantal? I did a tarot reading on you not long ago, and I felt like there were issues going on here. A lot of heart issues. So how's your heart doing? Because, all vital organs are important, not just one. Your lungs are important. Your heart is important. Your liver, your pancreas, your bladder, all of it. You need all of them. You can't do without any of them. If all of your other organs are being affected and they're in trouble, I can only imagine what's going on with your heart. We never hear about your heart issues. And I know you probably got a few.
he's giving me it's to help with cholesterol. He gave me some Zocor. I take 1 a day of that. It's like a tablet mukbang.
What?
That's also. He also gave
Did you
me.
hear that? She just said it's like a tablet mukbang. How can you compare diabetes medication to a mukbang? Holy crap.
Forxiga. Forxiga is also a tablet for type 2 diabetes. It's supposed to help regulate blood sugar even more.
Are you getting the theme here, Foodie? I'm not a doctor, but I'm sensing a theme here. Like everything you're taking is about your high blood sugar. There are different things mixed in, of course, but the high blood sugar seems to be like the thing that keeps popping up. All your medications are about your high blood sugar. You know, you might be able to be off a couple of those if you just stop all the crap eating. Stop eating all the doggone carbs and the bread and the sweets and the soda drinks. You took care of your health, you may not have to take all those medications, but you're insisting on eating all the crap. So the more crap you eat, the more medications you're going to have, and it's going to reach a point where none of them work.
So I take that once a day. Also, I still take my Janumet. Twice a day with food. So one in the like my first meal of the day.
And by the way, Foodie, if there's some grand plan in your head to make yourself so sick that you depend on Salah and he just has to be there for you, you're going to force Salah to be around you and interact with you and be with you for life based on just being constantly sick. If that is the plan, it's a bad plan. If there's some plan that you're going to be bedbound and be taking a bunch of medications and he has to get you food and you can't go anywhere and he'll just take care of you until your final days, wrong. I'm sure he's about sick of you and all these complications and all this burden, and he wants to just drop all of it on the nearest street corner and keep walking.
And then, so yes, I've been on like kind of a schedule where I, have to be up in the, not early morning, but in the morning enough to take tablets and everything. I have a dual. I have an alarm that I set for my tablets. I don't want to miss one because I have so many now, unfortunately. But anyways, inshallah in the future that will change. Because the doctor's like, what can change all of this is if you just completely get your way under control. So I'll get to that in a minute.
All of her doctors say that. And she's never listened. Every single doctor that Chantal has been to for years has said, you need to lose the weight. And she probably looked at those doctors and thought, oh, they're fat shamers and they're fat bullies. No, because your weight affects everything. It's not just about pounds. Excessive weight affects a lot of things. A lot of things. It puts a strain on the body. And your body is overworked just trying to keep you alive. So here's another doctor that didn't know about the other doctors, never talked to them, saying the exact same thing to you.
Excuse me. So I'm still on the antibiotic for the kidney infection, by the way. And then at night, at around 10, I take, no, did I say the Forxiga at 10? Forxiga is not at 10. Sorry, Forxiga is in the day. The one at 10 is Atlantis. So
why to know all of this? Why do we need to know every single pill that goes into her mouth and the dosage and when she takes her pills? Why is that important to us? Why does she need to tell us? It's not our health, it's hers. Why did she need to make this video?
I have this, if you don't know what insulin looks like, if you're curious. I thought it was a pen. The doctor in the patient was talking about he's like, if you are afraid to inject yourself, I can prescribe a pen. And I'm like, so I don't know, maybe that's what I understood, but I'm like, I'm fine with injecting myself. I don't care. No, it's not a problem.
Yeah, and my first immediate thought was, if she had a pen, she'd only get so much. But a vial, she could inject herself with even more. And Foodie, I've heard from different people that you cannot play around with the amount of insulin that you inject yourself with. There's no doubling up. There's no injecting larger amounts to lower your blood sugar. You cannot mess around with that. So if that was the purpose of getting the vial, better put that thought right out of your head.
So this is Lantus, and it's just like a vial, and you put the needle in here.
No kidding. I wouldn't know where else to put the needle. I don't think I could have figured that out for myself. Thanks for letting me know, Foodie.
And they give you a huge box of these syringes. I already have an open box. That's why this one is unopened.
Well, then why are you opening up that one, dummy? Just making more mess.
Like a huge amount of syringes. Just like, that look like that. And of course they give you like a box of...
This feels like show and tell to me. This feels like I want to press upon all of you how sick I am. So I'm going to play show and tell with my medications and my syringes and my insulin. So you're playing show and tell, but are you taking it seriously now?
Alcohol swabs. So, yeah, so that was, that's that. I was expecting it for my blood today, like when I just took it, to be super high, like just super high, because like...
Why would you expect to be super high? Did you eat?
I had something to eat before.
Yep, there we go.
My nap. It was just some like lentil soup I had, and I didn't have bread or anything. I had a little piece of cheddar cheese, some lentil soup, and I don't know why, but I just found like, because like even no matter what I've been eating, sometimes like I've been eating like carbs before, but like I stopped doing that since that one high blood sugar reading.
You mean you're not doing it on camera anymore?
But I was still like discouraged. Like I was like just waiting to be discouraged, you know, and it was like lower, so much lower. And I'm like, yes, please be working. Maybe the kidney infection's going away.
Maybe it's because you didn't load up on the bread like you usually do. See what happens when you cut out a lot of those carbs, Foodie? So the doctor telling you to lower your carbs, maybe he knew what he was talking about. I mean, he did go to school for all those years. I'm sure he learned a thing or two. Maybe he knows more than you.
I don't know, the insulin. I'm just like, yes, please. So then the doctor was like, everything can go away. All of these problems, you know, would most likely go away if you know, get your weight under control. So he gave me 2 prescriptions, like on a prescription paper. He wrote like my weight and everything like that. To go see the obesity clinic, which is why you see me beside the obesity.
Look at her looking at that door, obesity clinic. The way she doesn't want to go in.
Clinic door, because it was like right near our appointment. And then there's a nutritionist door. Nutritionist. It said nutrition on the door. So there's nutrition, obesity. So I have to go at some point, and while we were there was no one there because we went pretty close to the 5 o'clock mark. Like it was like between 2 and 5.
See, you know what though, Foodie? Can I just point something out to you? All these things you're telling us, whether you do them or not, you're telling us you're going to an obesity clinic, you're going to see a dietitian, you're going to get some training and some classes about your diabetes. So you're supposed to be doing this. You know what that means, right? It means if you come on camera and act a fool and eat a bunch of food and act stupid, people are going to be more mad at you. You cannot use the defense of I didn't know, because you went to the classes, there's a nutritionist, there's the obesity class, all of that. So you can't say I didn't know. You do know, you just don't care.
But yeah, by the time we were done my appointment, and like, you know, by the time we got there, got done my appointment, everything, it was like getting pretty late, and there didn't seem to be anybody in there. So we have to go at some point soon and see about arranging the diabetic education program, the obesity.
You know, I'm just gonna say it. She looks far too happy doing all this stuff. And if Foodie were serious about her health, I would understand that happiness. But she looks far too happy going to the doctor, going to these classes, obesity classes, diabetic classes. She looks far too happy to me. And I think I know why. Because all of these things that she has to do requires for Salah to spend more time around her. Normal Foodie, if you told her, you got to take yourself to the obesity clinic, you got to go do diabetic classes by yourself, she would never do it. She would be kicking and screaming. I think this little bit of happiness is about, I'm sick, and now that I'm sick, Salah's going to have to be around a lot more. He can't go wander off to the red room. I think that's where this new joy is coming from.
Management and the nutrition. So, and this can happen. Like, this is like bing, bang, boom. Like, I honestly, sorry.
Foodie, you're being really over dramatic with the water. Please stop.
I honestly feel like the healthcare I've been getting so far in Kuwait, I just like it so much more than what I've been getting in like Canada.
You
like,
never,
I don't know.
what are you talking about? When you were in Canada, you abused the healthcare system. You would use the emergency room for attention, and you weren't taking your health seriously. There's nothing wrong with the healthcare in Canada. You were just being an idiot and abusing it for attention, for views, for content, to get out of trouble whenever you get in trouble with people. There's nothing wrong with the Western world and the healthcare system here.
I don't know how it's just like more accessible. I don't know if it's that.
Well, maybe Canada's more expensive. I don't know.
You know, I have Salah with me, like, as a support. And
boom, there it is. There it is. Told you. I have Salah with me. The fact that he's there and she can basically force him to drive her everywhere. And the sicker she is, the more she has to depend on him, the more he has to drive her around. There it is.
helps. I don't know what the deal is with that, but I find that, like, I definitely just feel more hopeful and not like, oh my gosh, like, I see a lot of people worried, like, you need to come back to Canada. You need to come back to Canada. And it's like, why? You know, like,
why? Because in case something happens to you, if something happened to you and you lost your life in Kuwait, your family can't even get to you. Like, not to be morbid, Foodie, but I don't think they have the money to ship you back from Kuwait to Canada. You know what I mean? Just, you're in a seriously bad health. Wouldn't you want to be around your family just in case?
maybe people, like, I thought too at first, like, you know, oh no, like, I'm not native here, the healthcare system, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't seem to matter. Like, it doesn't seem to matter where you're from, what kind of, you know, status you have here. You know, the healthcare is pretty darn good. And yeah, so I don't know. So far, my experience, anyways. So there's just lots of options. And I really am going to try to just be consistent with this, take my medication.
Good luck with that. You're not consistent in anything besides eating and lying.
These programs and really try to see, like, you know, what I can do to improve myself. And it's, you know, going to be a process, but I don't feel like when I got sick on July 1st, I was like, what's wrong with
What's
me?
wrong with you? Girl, you did all kinds of mukbangs for days. What do you mean what's wrong with you?
It could be a million
It's
things.
the food, doggone it.
You know, and I had so much anxiety then. So to compare to how I felt July 1st, full of anxiety, to now on a path of recovery.
You're not recovered. You may feel a little bit better, but you're not recovered.
And, you know, the main key thing here is I know I have to do my part. Like I have to be really serious.
You're going to do that.
Seriously, more BS. Like,
how are you going to change your life around? How are you going to make the serious improvements and changes that you need to make, Chantal, if you are in an environment and around a person where you have too much control in all the wrong ways? You have control over the money. So Salah can't tell you no if you want to have a B moment, whether it's in front of him or behind his back. How are you going to have control if you have a phone and there's food apps on your phone and someone can deliver food right to your doorstep? How are you going to have control when you have a food issue that's completely out of control and you've got people in your audience that talk about food with you, and you've got other people on Cameo that pay you to make food related videos? Like, you're surrounded by things that are going to promote you being out of control. And you have no coping skills, no coping mechanisms. You have nothing else to occupy your time. You're set up for failure, and you know it.
this is, for me, my health, and I can't muck around, and you know I can't afford to just stall for whatever reason anymore. You know, like, yes, food addiction, and I will always stand by that. Food addiction, eating disorders are horrible, and I'm sure that they can help me with that in the obesity clinic, because people who are severely obese, it's a disease. Like I always say, nobody wants to wake up and be 400 or 500 pounds. Like,
was that a confession? Nobody wants to wake up and be 400 to 500 pounds. Was that kind of a confession about how much she really weighs? Kind of sounded like it.
Even 300, whatever you're overweight.
Oh, you can't walk it back. You just said 400, 500s. Fraudy, I'll stand on business. I think you're about 550. I know a lot of people have said 420. I say more than that, based on the fact that in 2018, you're about 20 something pounds shy of 400 then. You put on at least 100 pounds since then. So that would make you at least 500 pounds. Prove me wrong, though. Get on an actual medical scale that can tape up to about 800 pounds, where you cannot fiddle around with it, you can't muck around with it, you can't manipulate it. And let's see what the number really is.
Like, everyone's body is different, metabolism is different. You know, 40 extra pounds can affect somebody. It depends on your body.
Yeah, exactly. Like 40 extra pounds can affect a person. And you don't think 200 extra pounds aren't affecting you in every way? It affects your breathing, it affects your mobility, it affects your walking, it affects how you stand, it affects everything. Yet you don't care.
In your system. And some people can live years and years being 800 pounds. It just depends.
Not likely.
You know, at me at this weight, it's affecting my health, and in a really bad way, and it keeps affecting my health. And
she's doing this type of video for sympathy now. She wants to get sympathy from the audience. But she's going to be back to doing mukbangs. Not because I want her to do that, but because that's just what she does. She wants the money. That's how she makes her money. She doesn't know any other thing. She doesn't want to know any other thing. She's going to go back to it. And she's going to do it, and she's going to justify it in her head as I need to be in the spotlight with Girl World. And if I do a mukbang after talking about my health issues, they're going to be really upset and they're going to go off and there's going to be outrage and it's going to be glorious and I'm going to make money. So let me just save you the trouble, Chantal. We don't care. We don't care if you ruin your health. We can't stop you. Nobody can stop you. You can sit down and do a 10 million mukbangs. You can buy up every nashi in Kuwait and eat them all in one sitting. We don't care. You have desensitized us to what you do because you've done so many shocking things. Seeing you sit down and eat 10 nashis, it really doesn't faze us anymore. That's just part of the course for you. All your little cheap tactics to make money aren't working anymore. And I know you know that, and I know you realize that, but you keep playing the same cards over and over, expecting different results, expecting more money. More money doesn't come, so you rage, thinking the rage is going to pay your bills. And then even when you rage, nobody really reacts anymore. See, that's what happens when you're a little girl who cries wolf. You do the same thing over and over again. After a while, people stop believing you and they stop watching you.
You know, I have severe issues with food, and so many, like, you know.
You know what? You want to have severe issues with food. Yeah, I said it. You want to have severe issues with food. Because as long as you have them, you can cater to a certain niche of people in your audience. And if you don't have severe issues with food, you couldn't make them happy anymore.
So I think that obesity clinic should be able to help learning, you know, proper nutrition, especially like with when you have type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is a bit different. So anyways, I'm just really hopeful, and I'll keep you guys posted with updates like this.
We don't need an update. How about instead of showing off all your medications and talking about how sick you are, why don't you try something new? How about you surprise everybody with taking care of yourself? Stop complaining about how sick you are and start working on getting yourself healthy. All the whining and the crying and complaining, it's gotten old, Chantal. It's stale. It's played out. Nobody's even bringing out the tiny violins for you. Nobody gives a crap. You want to hurt yourself. You want to make yourself unhealthy. It's your life. You can do it. But nobody is invested the way they used to be. Because it's the same old song and dance every single time.
I'm going to try to live a pretty normal life in between and do fun things around, try to, you know, get out.
You know what? She's talking a bunch of lies. I'm out. The video's almost over anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed that react. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. And I'm going to leave a link down below for Piggy's video if you guys want to check out Piggy. And thank you for putting that video together, Piggy. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.